Okay. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Today's problem is called divisible sum pairs, and this is how it works. You are given this array of values. What you are supposed to do is you are supposed to pick any of the pairs that if you add, you are going to get, sorry, any of the pairs that if you add those pairs, they are divisible by the value k, which is passed to it. So, for instance, if you take this array 1 and 4, we can add 1 and 4 to give us 5. We can add 2 and 3, which will also give us 5. And we can add 4 and 6, which will give us 10. So we have 5, 5, 10. All of them are divisible by 5. So our result will be, our answer will be 3. Okay. So the input format is defined as this. They'll give us the length of the array called n, then they'll give us the array itself, and finally they'll give us the k, which is the integer divisor. So if you take this example like this, they give you 6, 3. 6 is the length of the array. 3 is the number that each sum of pair must be divisible by, and then this is the array. So if you take this array, for example, let's see which numbers are divisible by 3. 1 and 2 are divisible by 3, just to show over here. We can add this 1 and this 2 also, it will give us 3. We can pick 3 and 6, which will give us 9, and 9 is divisible by 3 also. We can pick 2, 1, and finally 1, 2. So all these numbers are divisible by 3. So our final output should be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to write this code, first I struggled a bit. I sent a lot of submissions and most of them were wrong until I decided to solve it. Okay, in fact, let me show you. Okay, I wanted to show you the previous mistakes, the code that I wrote, the various mistakes that I had. In fact, let me do that just now before we look at the right implementations. Okay, so this is one of them. Yeah, I think I tried this one yesterday, 10 hours ago. Okay. So this is how I try to implement it at first. If I run it, it passes for, yeah, I think this one when I run it, it passes for this test case. But for the initial test case, it passes all right. But if I submit it, it fails for I think almost all of them. Yeah, 18 of them failed. Okay. And okay. So let's see. Oh, okay. Hmm. Let me check something to be sure. Uh, First, I was doing, yeah, instead of, I was doing equal to k. The sum shouldn't be equal to k. The sum should be divisible by k, which was an error I was making earlier on. So let me run this code and then submit it again and see what happens. Maybe yesterday's code was quite okay before. Okay, it was not quite okay. Okay, I thought I'd figured it out. It wasn't okay at all. Okay, so yesterday this is what I was using for I in range n, which should give me all the elements in the array. Okay, this code will give me all the elements in the array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 2, 6, 1, 2. But the issue is, then I also use another for loop to loop through that same array, that same range again, which will also give me 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will give me that range. Then I'm now checking if the array, oh boy, This code is terrible. I'm not realizing after I got it. Yeah, this won't work. Let's not even bother. So let's move on to this one. So this is the right way to do it. Okay. So what you do is first you look through the entire element. So they've given us the length. So me doing for I in range n, supposing the length n was 5, it will give me 0 to 4, which I can use to access all the elements in this array, since this n is the length of this array. Then I call another for loop. So if for I, which is when it is at the one instance over here, okay, if I is 1, this j will also run. So let's say here we have I equals 1. For the first time, I is 1. And for only that particular value of I being 1, we are doing another for loop again, which is looping from I, is looping from I plus 1 to the length of the array. So if this is 1, it will run from the second element, which is, if you pick 1 in this instance, the j will start from 3 up till the end. Okay, if I was on the second element, it will start from here. And if I was this third element, the j will start from here. If I was 1 over here, j will only start from here. Okay. So that's what I'm doing with the second for loop. Now within the second for loop, I now check if the value of I, if you sum I and the next value, which is like 3, then the next one will be 1 and 2, 1 and 6, 1 and 1, 1 and 2. That's what I'm doing. So I'm checking if I and, for example, if I is 1, if 1 plus this next element, which will be our j in this first iteration of the for loop, if 1 plus 3 is divisible by k, the question said it should be divisible by k. But again, over here I'm using equal to. So my code ended up not working, which was one of my mistakes. So let's run the one that actually worked. Okay. So it's the same thing over here, just that this time around I'm doing divisible, which is the right thing I was supposed to do. The other time I was checking if it is equal to. So if it is divisible, if the sum, okay, of let's say 1, if the sum of 1 and 3 is divisible by k, which is the value given to us, then we increment the number of occurrences by 1. Okay. Now we know we can find out if a value is divisible by another by using the modulus operator and checking if the result is 0. So this is how the code works. Let's go over once again with this code. So we'll check 1 plus 3 if it is divisible by k. Let's say our k is 3. If the 1 plus 3 is 4, it is not divisible, so the number of occurrences will not increase. Then it will check 1 plus 2, which is 3, and 3 is divisible by 3. So we increment the number of occurrences by 1. We check again 1 plus 6, which will give us 7. 7 is not divisible. 1 plus 1, which will give us 2. 2 is not divisible by 3. 1 plus 2, which will give us 3. 3 is divisible by 3. Then that's awesome. Then after the for loop ends over here, it goes to the outer for loop, where it will increment to the next value. So it will be 3. This time around we'll have 3 next. Then it will now check if this inner loop 3 plus 2, is it divisible by 3? 3 plus 6, 3 plus 1, 3 plus 2. Then after this loop finishes, it will move on again to 2. Then to check 2 plus 6, 2 plus 1, 2 plus 2. After that inner loop finishes, we move on to the next value. So that's how I was able to achieve it. First, one mistake I did was I made this place only I, so it kept adding like 3 plus 3. And like if it is on one, to add 1 plus 1, 3 plus 3, 2 plus, which was not ideal. We were not looking for, we are not adding the same number twice. So I use I plus 1 so that it always picks the number after it. Okay. Yes. Mm. Yeah. So that's how I run it. That's how I solve it. And if you run this code, it should pass. And you submit, it passes too. Now, one thing I realized was over here, the two elements, after looking at other code solution, I realized that these two elements I was summing up here, I've placed them within an array and then applying the sum function to them. It's like it's over engineering. What I should have done was simply just add those two values. So I reiterated upon my answer and did this. I just added the value of the I plus its next element. Okay. So I just added them instead of making them into a list and then applying the sum function. And this also works. It works. I think it even ran faster. Yeah, it ran fast. Let me see. Let me submit the code. Yeah. Yes, it runs quite fast. That's it. I don't know if there's a way I can use only one for loop because I don't think this solution is ideal. But upon looking at other code solutions, the same thing that I was seeing. But let's see in future if I find a way that we can better solve this problem. I'll make a video and then post it out. Okay, so that's it for today. See you all later. Mhm.